and welcome to the retirement celebration for Martha Logan. We really are thrilled that you're here. My name is Dan Patterson, and I was born into a family of two loving parents and a sister. Over the next 8 years, 4 more children were added, and I can remember calling my first grade girlfriend, called her on the telephone, and remember saying begrudgingly, "It's another girl." Little did I know how lucky I would be to grow up with 5 sisters. I'd like to introduce you to our family, starting with my parents, Ivan and Clara Patterson, the founders of Korrect Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. My oldest sister, Carol, and her husband, Jeff. Martha and her husband, Colby. I'm getting there. Many, many people like to help me out, and I really do appreciate that. Thank you. Most importantly, the best of the Patterson women, my wife, Jane. Sometimes I think 46 years has never looked so good. Will you pray with me? Father God, as we celebrate together this evening, may you look upon us with love and hope for the future. We thank you for your blessings, for the way you provide and protect and plan for our lives. We thank you for the hope that we have through Christ, and pray that tonight we should honor you as we celebrate Martha and her life together. In Christ's name, amen. We're here to celebrate with Martha the conclusion of her work life and the excitement of what lies ahead. Again, thank you for coming. It's exciting to be here at the renovated Dayton Arcade. Wasn't the food great? And the service that they have provided, the food was wonderful. Tonight, the attendees here come from a number of different groups associated with Martha. I'd like to recognize as many of you as I can. I thought about having you stand up, but I understand that maybe a hand raise would fit. So you've met my parents and my sisters, and I'm going to introduce the rest of you in a group of 4. So if you're extended family, a business associate, connected through church or another personal relationship, and then finally employees, past employees, and family. So if you are an extended family member, will you raise your hand? Yes, girls, there we go. Thank you. If you're a business associate, will you raise your hand? Nice to see you. If you are connected through church, or Emmaus, or high school, or neighbor, raise your hand. Come on. And if you are a past or present employee or employee family member, raise your hand. Thank you for coming. We have asked a few people to say a few words about Martha tonight, and the first up is Josh. Josh Patterson is Jane and I's second oldest son. Josh graduated from Dayton Christian High School in 1999 and began classes at Cedarville University in the fall. It wasn't too long into his schooling that he decided that a career in plumbing might trump a college path and a life at a desk. He started as a helper and learned skill after skill on the job, taught by many of our Korrect, knowledgeable plumbers. After 3 years as an apprentice, he passed the City of Dayton plumbing test and spent 12 years out in the field. Josh became an estimator in 2020 and has worked hard to learn the HVAC business and to serve the customers. He now oversees the HVAC department. Recently, Josh was promoted to vice president. We are thankful that he chose to work at Korrect.
Thanks, Dan. So the only thing I want to make one correction was 2012, not 2020 when I came into office. But then again, we were talking back and forth, like, what dates are this? What dates are this? I was like, yeah, I don't really remember. Everything just tends to flow. Everything tends to just flow and disappears in my life. And
you gotta talk loud, bud. You just gotta talk loud.
we'll just grab the mic. There you go. I'm not one to sit still. In fact, most people know me. I walk in the office and I'm whistling every morning. Every morning I whistle, and that's how most people know, oh, here comes Josh. He hasn't even had his coffee yet. So, but anyway, this is a time of celebration. And as I sat back and looked at the time that I've had it correct, and the time that Martha and I would say within the last 6 years, that has truly impacted me. And told myself I wasn't going to get emotional. I'm usually not. So if I get that way, I apologize. But Martha's had a huge impact on me. And I put notes together, and I put in here some things that I appreciate about Martha. And I think it's things that, if you know Martha, you can agree with me. I appreciate the time that she spends one-on-one, invites you into her office. There's just something special about your boss, your aunt, asking you to come into her office just to sit and talk. Is there anything that you need to know? Is there things that you want to know? And her desire to help you be better and to give you opportunities, whether that's books, lots of books. I don't know if you've been in Martha's office, but it was a small library of leadership books and growth books, but just ways that she wanted to see you grow as an individual, grow in your walk with the Lord. Number one thing that I can say about Martha is she has a heart for Jesus. She has a heart for Jesus, and her servant's heart that she has taken on has been amazing. To put others before herself and to watch them succeed, and knowing as all she was a tool that she could be used, that God has placed into their lives to help them to grow, to be a better person, to be a better individual, to be, I would say, a plumber, but she doesn't know much about that side of the business. But in any way that she could, she was an encouragement or pointed you in the right direction, just helping people to grow internally. So that is the one thing that my number one was that Martha wanted to see people to grow and to know that her reason for being there was to be a servant. One of the other things that I appreciate about Martha is her realistic expectation of the things that you say that you would like to see happen, or ideas that you have, crazy enough, but then to bring a solution to do it, not just bring ideas. She gave you the opportunity to go out and explore and to get creative, but yet also reins you back to say, hey, did you think about this? Did you think about this? And did you think about this? Those are great ideas. So she wanted you to encourage you to think, what we would say, correct, outside of the box. That's a big thing that we have had a focus in on, is getting out of the norm, stretching ourselves into thinking differently. So that's another thing that I have really appreciated, is to get me out of my own mind frame, get me out of the way of myself to help me get more creative. One of the things that that I also appreciate about you, Martha, is your willingness to let people fail. I know that we all walk through life and have had failures. I don't care if that's in relationships, in schooling. There's a reason why I only lasted a couple quarters at Cedarville. It was not because I couldn't do it, is I had no interest. And, you know, some things that we walk through life thinking that we've been a failure in is, Martha would tell you, it's like, you're not a failure, you just have an opportunity to grow. Failing at something isn't just something that you've done, that you've tried to do, but it's giving you what, hey, this doesn't work. And she'll say, it didn't work, so what are we going to do next? What's the opportunity we have? That type of encourager, that type of cheerleader in your corner that says, yep, you fell down, let's get back up, let's try to do it differently, maybe it'll work this time. I mean, everybody needs one of those in their corner. And Martha was that for me, because there's lots of things that I brought to her that she allowed me to try, and that failed miserably, whether it was a lack of application or implementation, but allowed me the opportunity to grow from those failures, and yet know what works and what doesn't work. And I appreciate that about you. I'd say the last thing that shortens up my 2-minute time, maybe 3 minutes, is the time that you spent one-on-one in your office in the conference room at Summit to pour into not only myself, but into the other leaders that you were prepping, that you were preparing. We didn't know that it was going to be 2022, but the Lord was setting you up. And you were taking the steps and you were saying, yes, this is something that I see a need for. And I want to see these people inside of our organization grow to be great leaders, to have an impact on our customers, to have an impact on our team members. And for me, that one-on-one time and pushing me out of my comfort zone to see myself as a leader. The Lord has given us all people that we lead in life. That can be our kids, that can be our wives, that can be the grocery clerk. So we're all leaders in the way that we have an impact on someone's life. And Martha's desire that we have a positive impact on the people that we're running to. Just allowing us the opportunity, allowing me the opportunity to learn that from you and to gain that coaching from you has been amazing. I hope you and Coley the best of times with your travels, with your camping, enjoying being out in the woods, enjoying God's creation. Congratulations, and we wish you the best. Thank you so much.
There are many of you here tonight that I didn't get the opportunity to work with. How many of you started at Korrect Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning in 2014 or after? There's always been 3 big reasons that we have enjoyed success in business, in addition to the favor of the Lord. Terrific employees, loyal customers, valued suppliers, and always doing what is right. I'd like to take this opportunity to come clean about a small infraction I may have committed during my work years at Korrect. It's been 20 years now, and I think the statute of limitations has expired. For many, many years, we worked for a major contractor, the Miller Valentine Group. Is there anyone here from Miller Valentine tonight? No? Good. In a time of computer updating and program changes, Miller Valentine revamped their bookkeeping systems and made appropriate adjustments. As a result, Korrect received an account adjustment check. I must admit that I kept the check in my ever-handy briefcase for the past 20 years. I would ask that Heather Moody, recently promoted CFO, come up here and relieve me of the check and the guilt. Heather, I give you this Miller Valentine check, number 126577, in the amount of 1 cent. The smallest check that Korrect Plumbing has ever received. It's for safekeeping and a reminder that balancing the checkbook is important, down to the last cent. Thank you. Tom Burrows is growing deep roots at Korrect. Brought to Korrect in 2005 by his cousin Bobby. According to Tom, Bobby begged and pleaded with me to come to Korrect, saying, "We need another good plumber." Tom now has a brother, Johnny, and both sons, Jordan and Josh, working with him at Korrect. Over the years, Tommy has become the plumber of choice to many Korrect customers and treats each customer just like family. Asked, "What do you like about working at Korrect?" Tom responded without hesitation, Christian faith and holds to their beliefs and values. We appreciate you and your willingness to share tonight, Tom. You told me I got laryngitis, I can't talk.
Good evening. Just to let you know, I was shocked when Nate asked me to speak tonight, because I figured my brother Johnny would do this, because he was in Martha's office more than I was. No, seriously, I'm honored to do this. Martha always had the company and its employees' best interests at heart, and always striving to make things better and stronger with the most positive plan possible. She cared strongly about all the employees and their families. She enjoyed finding ways to keep everyone together and share fellowship. Everyone was an important part of the Korrect family, and we appreciate her efforts in that. There was never a time when we didn't feel prayed over when we needed it. Martha was always to the point and always had her door open any time and willing to listen. She may not have liked what we had to say from time to time, and you could tell by her expressions, but she would most of the time give you an answer, and if she couldn't, she would say, "I'll check on that and get back to you." I personally appreciated her honesty and her ability to get her point across with very few words. Thank you, Martha, for the many years you put heart and soul into Korrect. It was a pleasure working with you. We hope you enjoy your retirement to the fullest and spend lots and lots of time with your family and friends. When you get to this place in our lives and we lose loved ones, it makes you realize how short and precious life really is. God bless you, and thanks again for being such a big part of Korrect Plumbing.
When I called the state of Washington to talk to Melody about sharing tonight, the first thing I realized was, here is someone who is positive, excited, and energized. In the little time we talked, I found myself energized too. Martha and Melody met at Fellowship of Christ, Companies for Christ International 11 years ago. It's my privilege to introduce Melody Wright.
to pull a Josh here and just do this because I'm kind of that same way. Dan, thanks for saying how long Martha and I have known each other, because I realized when I was trying to figure out how long, it really doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. If you know Martha, right? You know almost everything you need to know about Martha in just a little tiny bit. And so I'm really enjoying tonight because I'm seeing a kaleidoscope, right? All these people bringing out the different qualities of Martha. And there's so many, but I only have a few minutes. And so I'll be brief, but I thought maybe I'd bring out a little different dimension. And, you know, knowing Martha, it's like something you can count on, like the sun rising and the sun setting. Martha is always Martha. And so one of those qualities is, let's talk Martha. She knows what she wants, and she finds a way to make it happen. Am I right? Yep, okay. So when we met at that business conference, I guess 11 years ago, it wasn't under the best of circumstances. So for whatever reason, their name tags, Martha and Coley Logan, it's not hard, but it was wrong. And not only was it wrong, but every time we went to go reprint it, it was still wrong. And it was just one of those crazy things. But here's Martha. Martha knew what she wanted, and she wasn't going to leave until she got it. And somehow she found me thinking that I could help her. So she finds somebody to help, right? But I was really at a loss. And so, but I really didn't know that, so we finally got it right. But in the midst of it, I was thinking, it's no wonder she thinks I'm anything. Because she looked at me with that great big grin, that whole face grin, and I went, I've just made a new best friend. And I didn't know any better, but here we are 11 years later, right? And guess what? That same thing happened 3 years in a row. Wrong names, wrong companies. It was crazy. So we got to laugh at it. And I think this year, well, in October, we finally got it right. I think. Don't tell me anything different. Second thing about Martha. Martha is faithful. She is both full of faith and faithful to God. You know, I work with organizations that encourage and equip companies to run their companies on biblical principles. And watching Korrect and seeing the legacy and seeing that pull through, it's just been an amazing thing. And thank you, Martha, for continuing that legacy. And to Josh and Nate, it's going to be wonderful under your leadership as well. Martha is also a faithful prayer, as I've heard reference to. She'll pray for healing, for provision, for health, and she'll also pray for miracles. Sometimes she is the miracle. And I could list many such miracles that she's prayed for, and she's become the miracle answer, and that includes me. But you know, I'm not going to, because she's so humble. And she would never want those things known, but instead, she just points glory to God, right? And most of that is anonymous, but she just points it to the Lord. And she and Coley, it's absolutely humbling how generous they are with both their time and their talent and their resources. And I expect that will just continue. They'll continue to be examples for many people in this next chapter, in this next phase. And so what more, who is Martha, right? And you guys probably all know this, but Martha is all in, right? If she's in anything, she is all in. And she catapults her whole self in. I was going to say that in all she does, she works as unto the Lord. But if you guys don't mind, I think I'll go out on a little limb tonight and tell you it's a scary look into my brain, okay? What I really think about when I think about Martha going all in is that she literally lives out the last verse of the song, the Hokey Pokey. Okay, you guys are audience participators. Who remembers the Hokey Pokey? Okay? And it starts out, for those that don't, I'm sorry, you'll have to Google it and you'll laugh and you won't be able to unhear it. So the first one starts, you know, you put your whole hand in, you put your whole hand out. whole hand in and you shake it all about. Well, it goes through a whole bunch of things. And then it goes, you put your whole self in, and you put your whole self out. You put your whole self in, and you shake it all about. Well, guess what? That's Martha. So when I get off the phone with her the last 10 years, or whatever it is, or a new venture, whatever, I always think to myself, she puts her whole self in. So Martha, I'm sorry if you didn't know that, but there you go. So she lives that out. And since tonight is a celebration of a next phase, it's realistic to say that Martha will be putting her whole self in, right? And shaking it up as only Martha can do. And so cheers to making it happen in a new phase, and congratulations, and thank you everybody. Take care. Thanks.
Beverly Shoemaker started working as an assistant to Martha and in charge of accounts payable in March of 2014. Over the last 8 years, Bev has grown in additional roles, including Director of Human Resources. When I began to ask Bev what she likes about working at Korrect, her first remark began, "Oh my gosh, you don't have time for all the good things I can say. This is not like any other place I've ever worked." She added, "I think the first time I really realized how good a place this was to work was on the company bus trip to Glade Springs, West Virginia. We all had a great time together." Bev has been under the weather lately and has asked that her comments about her time at Korrect be read. Bev, thank you for being a part of tonight's program and doing the extras that have added to the evening. This is what Bev wrote. Martha equals family and opportunities. When Nate mentioned to me about speaking tonight, I wondered if I could keep it to 3 or 4 minutes. If you know me, you know it will be difficult, but I will try. When I think about Martha, I think about opportunity. When I applied for my job at Korrect, she gave me the opportunity to join a company that would treat me like family, and she meant it. We both grew up attending the Church of the Brethren, just at different churches. We both went to church camp. I was a bit older, so our paths never crossed there. Our families were similar in that our fathers both started and owned their own businesses. We both saw that hard work was what it was all about. And when I told my dad I had applied for a job at Korrect, he said, "That's Ivan Patterson's company. You would like it there." I said, "Dad, how do you know Martha's dad?" The answer, Brethren Disaster Ministry. My husband, Joe, also knew Ivan and Claire from the Brethren's home. When I told Joe I was going to apply for a job on West 3rd Street, his answer was a big fat no. Then I told him the name of the company. He did a complete 360 and said, "Oh, that's Ivan Patterson's company. You'll be fine there." Everyone close to me knew the Pattersons, except for me. But if they were okay with Korrect, so was I. My first opportunity at Korrect was being able to get to know our techs. At first, I was pretty nervous and thought I would never learn anyone's name. But eventually, I knew more about them than they knew about themselves. Laugh out loud, she says. I didn't know a thing about plumbing, HVAC, or drain cleaning, but everyone helped me, just like family. Another big opportunity at Korrect came about a year after I started. Martha was going to be out of the office for a few weeks for some surgery, and she wanted me to handle some things. Bigger things that I had helped with, but not done on my own. That opportunity scared me to death, but with Martha's support, training, and guidance, and her checking in on me every so often, got me through it. Then about a year later, Martha said, "We have a new opportunity. We're building a new building across the street." There were many little opportunities to help with, and I learned quite a bit. I didn't have to make the decisions. just helped carry some of them out. And it was an opportunity I really enjoyed. I also learned about opportunities when Martha would say, "Hey Beth, could you come over here so I could show you an opportunity?" That usually meant I had an opportunity to learn the correct way of doing something. And it was nicer than saying I had made a mistake. I have had several opportunities in the past almost 8 years, but those teaching opportunities are so valuable and very memorable for me. Martha, it's now your turn to explore all kinds of new opportunities. We used to joke that we couldn't retire in the same year. You just got your opportunity first. I'll be joining the retirement group. I just wait a few more years. There are so many wonderful opportunities that await you, Martha, and I truly wish you the very best. Love you like family, Beth. Nathan Patterson, Jane and I's oldest son, graduated from Cedarville University with a business degree in 2001 and first began working at a company in Centerville after I suggested to him that a work experience someplace not correct would give him business exposure and experience that I couldn't. After 6 months of that, our office needed to add a person, and we asked Nathan if he was interested. He began his career at Korrect in 2002 and became president upon Martha's retirement, January the 1st. As parents, Jane and I expect our kids to grow up and make a career choice without pressure or expectations. It reminds me of a doctor who was on the way to preschool with his daughter. Left on the seat was his stethoscope. His little girl picked it up and began playing with it. "Be still, my heart," thought the doctor. "My daughter wants to follow in my footsteps." Then the child spoke into the instrument. "Welcome to McDonald's. May I take an order?" We are so very blessed to have all our Ohio sons working at Korrect. Nate and Josh and JJ, we're really proud of you.
I'm honestly not sure if I'm supposed to be up here working at McDonald's after that joke. I didn't really know quite where that was going. Dad, thanks for MC. Appreciate the time and effort that you put in for us and for the group and for this evening. When you find yourself deeper in the speaker lineup, you kind of have to worry about your material being said by somebody before you and hope that there's something left in what you have to say that hasn't already been talked about. So I'm sitting there kind of checking mentally, do I have anything left that somebody else hasn't already talked about? And I'm feeling actually in a pretty good spot. So it was awesome to have just different perspectives from different people about Martha. And so that's been really great because I feel like my talk is going to be just a little bit different, which will be great. If you're here and you didn't know that Korrect is a family business, then you're probably at the wrong party, and it's not too late to get away. In many family businesses, the toughest part about being in business is the family part. It's the most challenging and can oftentimes be the downfall to a business. At Korrect, that isn't the case. For the past 20 years, I've been honored to work with Martha and the Korrect team through some of the biggest challenges and changes, we like to call them opportunities, in the history of the company. Many of those opportunities they've all occurred almost in the 12-year term that Martha had as president of the company. Through these periods of time, our Korrect family supported each other. Martha always supported our team. Martha always supported me. She always encouraged me to grow personally and professionally, to take time to build relationships, to find like-minded people who've already been where we're going, and to learn from them. There are a lot of Martha-isms that I'll mention here in a little bit, but one of them, I think it was Dad first and then Martha, was that you can't make every mistake on your own. You have to learn from people who made those mistakes and take a different path. Martha was always enthusiastically willing to listen to my ideas and dreams about Korrect. And then she would ask questions to help me see things from a different angle, and then let me figure out on my own what path was worth pursuing. And I'm sure she saved us more than one time. Most importantly, she was a constant reminder that we will face challenges in life, challenges in business, that we cannot overcome on our own strength. We're reminded in Matthew 17 that if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, that you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. When my dad retired several years ago, I remember that Martha gave him a wheel. Some of you may have been at that retirement party. And that wheel was a representation of Korrect as a business that continued to roll and move forward. And I can remember Dad always saying, we just have to keep the wheel moving forward. And he would talk about a kid with a wheel and a stick, and the wheel would roll, and the kid with the stick would just tap it and keep it moving and keep it upright and just make little changes to keep that wheel moving. Consistency is a word that I would use to describe my dad's term as president of Korrect. Today I brought with me a hiking pole. It's right here. And I thought that that would be a good symbol for what Martha's term as president could represent. What Martha experienced as the president of Korrect was more like a hike. Not a nice flat hike, but more like one that traversed up and down mountains. One of Martha's lines that I can remember her saying in leadership team meetings that we would have many, many times was, I'm out of here before we reach 50 employees. Because at 50 employees, things change. 50 team members came and went a long time ago. And she climbed that mountain. She climbed the mountain of starting a brand new department at Korrect. The mountain of acquiring another company. The mountain of becoming a paperless company through a new software system. The mountain of starting a manufacturing business from scratch. And the mountain of COVID-19. And there were many hills along the way. Each of those climbs resulted in periods of pain, but also the relief and the celebration when you summit to the top and you can take in the view of what was accomplished. Today's a day to celebrate and to take in the view of 35 years of hard but hopefully rewarding work. If you stop by our office, Martha's not going to be there. But if you look around, you're going to see the fingerprints of what she was passionate about all over the walls. There are pictures of the Korrect team, both past and present. Our core values are all over the office. We have a social covenant that is on the wall. The V-Steel model, which says that you cast a vision, serve people, teach, train, and equip them, empower them, let them go do what they do, and then evaluate and start the process all over again. You also might hear people say things like, there's always something that you don't know about a situation, or people only remember 5% of what you tell them, so you have to repeat it until they're rolling their eyes. One of my favorites is that you only have 50% of your brain power when you're upset. So take some time and cool down before you respond. There are a lot more of those Martha-isms that I will use, and I'll remember where they came from. This hiking pole is a gift, much like the wheel. Engraved in it is the Korrect logo, Martha's name and the tenure, and it says the words, "The Hike." And I hope that it's something that will be a reminder of the mountains that you've conquered in the past, encouragement for the future as new opportunities will arise, and I think that it's small enough that it might fit in your camper. And maybe you'll actually hike up a real mountain and take in the view while you're retired. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome Martha Logan to the podium. After that, folks.
Well, as I listened to Nathan, I did have that same thought, like, man, he's using all my material. So now you have heard remarks from people who have had the opportunity, and I would add the privilege of knowing Martha. Truth be known, so much of who Martha is cannot be seen without rubbing shoulders with her. Many of you look at Martha, you see the president of our company and a woman of strength and confidence. Like many of us, those abilities and characteristics have been developed over the years. Life has not always been simple and easy, nor without the difficulties of life for Martha. She spent 6 years as a single mom, balancing home and work and caring for her son. After 3 years as the office manager of an ophthalmologist, her work took a different direction. In 1986, Korrect needed a full-time secretary, and Martha accepted the position, thus beginning her 35-year career. Mother retired in 1995, and Martha stepped up to the financial position in company treasurer. During parts of 2004 and 2005, Martha had obligations in Cincinnati and made daily trips back and forth before and after work, which made for long days and short nights. Her faith in Christ provided the strength she didn't have and the hope for the future that she needed. Martha became president in 2010, and I retired in 2014. She has led Korrect plumbing, heating, and air conditioning through some of the largest growth and biggest changes in its 70-year history. Korrect tripled in revenue and employees and became a top 100 largest mechanical company in the nation during her tenure. Martha has a heart for people and tenderness for caring for others. She has a deep faith and a solid trust in Christ. Her willingness to speak and live her faith is unusual in our world today. Martha, we celebrate with you your past accomplishments and your future opportunities. May God continue to lead you and use your life to honor Him. Now we welcome her to the podium.
Josh, do you have your watch out to see how long they got? We have a bet whether I can do it. If I stay to my script, I'll be fine.
We got that. We were just curious.
Thank you all for coming tonight. I am totally honored. Korrect, as you've heard, has always been about teams and family. I have been blessed to have amazing teams in the last 35 years. My top executive has been God. Without God being my strength and refuge, I don't know where Korrect or I would be today. The people that have built the foundation and will continue Korrect include Ivan and Claire Patterson, Dave Putterball, Dan Patterson, Dean Sutter, Josh Patterson, Nate Patterson, Chris Wissinger, and Heather Moody. I apologize. There have been 3 amazing women that I call that who have carried me during really hard times and really good times. They kept me organized. They did special tasks. They kept me on track. When I was in a period of time that I could look at one piece of paper and don't give me a second. They were there to carry me. Marty Doody, thank you so much. Bev Shoemaker, thank you so much. And Donna White was always available to do any social projects that I asked for. Amazing women. And I'm thankful that God brought Heather Moody to us 2 years ago. I know that's 4. My top supporter has been always my husband, Colby. His ability to recognize how I'm doing what I need is amazing. The sacrifices he has made in the last 10 years, allowing me to be the president of Korrect Plumbing, Heating, and Air, are countless. Thank you, Colby. I love you. I have been blessed with outside counsel, CPA firm, Randy Kramer and Chuck Kraft. My attorneys, Bill Elliott and John Faulkner. My consultants, Roger Warren, Dan McNeil, Jay Messner, and Gary Marco. Consultants, Roger Warren, sorry, I said that. Professional advisors, Joyce Snyder, Mike Kearns, Gail Plunkett, Max and Sandy. I have been supported by my family and countless friends. The biggest impact on Korrect's business and growth comes through the technicians and office staff. You are the folks that deal directly with our customers. The way you run and do our mission, carry out our mission of serving people is amazing. You deliver peace of mind by problem solving in plumbing, drains, heating and air, and bathroom remodel. All the times that you guys go above and beyond for our customers is countless. Thank you. Your ability to live the core values of Korrect Plumbing, Heating, and Air, of honesty, hardworking, making a positive impact, and being loyal and committed is why Korrect has the outstanding reputation in the Dayton throughout the Miami Valley. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you for making my job easy. Because a lot of companies get complaints about their employees, and I never have to worry about that. Would you guys help me celebrate the people that are currently at Korrect? To my successors, it is with full confidence that I pass the leadership to Nate and Josh and Dean and Heather. You will always have my support and my prayers. I'll be a resource as needed. Several people have asked, what are you going to do in retirement? So here's the answer. I get to spend time on relationships. My relationship with God, my husband, my great children, my grandchildren, my family, and my friends. I can't wait. I have missed you all in the last 10 years. Yes, we will be traveling, and yes, we're going to enjoy being grandparents. If you're not a grandparent yet, it is the best. I will trust the Lord with all my heart. I will not lean on my own understanding. In all ways, I will acknowledge Him, and He's going to direct my paths. Thank you for celebrating me with me.